Right. Fear and attachment. We all in our life experience what fear is. You know what attachment is in this world. So what I'm going to talk about is a different world. What we know of this world, in Buddhism we call it a conventional world, where everybody knows, there are things outside here. We have cars, we have houses, we have relationships, we have things. There is another world in Buddhism where we call ultimate realities. You see the world in terms of ultimate realities. And the Buddha has something to say about this. He says, I quote, this is from the Anguttara Sutta. And goes like this. How did it go? Yes, just escape me. In this fathom-long body, with its perceptions and thoughts, there is the world. The origin of the world, the end of the world, and the path leading to the end of the world. So he says, in this fathom-long body, with its perceptions and thoughts, there is the body. So there is a world inside this body. Now how does this world come about? And we know from simple physics of optics, that when we see something, there are only two little tiny images at the back of our retina, right? That's all we see. That's real. And from these two tiny little images, we get this three-dimensional world. Alright? How is that possible? Well, we have some experience of this. When we go to sleep, we dream. Our eyes are closed, most of our senses are closed down, but yet we are in the world, in the dream world. Now when we are in the dream world, it's very real. We get frightened, or we get a lot of joy. We don't know the difference between whether we're in a dream world or not. It's only when we wake up and we see, yes, I'm here, that was a dream. It's only then that we know that we are in the dream world. So the mind is actually capable with just two little visual images create what you're seeing here. Right? It is difficult to believe that this is happening. When we see this world of images, right, we are actually making things up. Right? This is the world that is seen by a normal human being. Right? Now, if I have a friend who suffers from color blindness, and he told me that the grass he sees is orange in color, right? So we have a green world, he has an orange world, I've got to believe him, because I can't see what he sees. He sees the grass is orange, the grass is orange, Well, there are certain colors he can't see as well. I only discovered that he was colorblind because one day he came in with a jacket, and there was this very obvious pink stripe that was running across his jacket. So I asked him, did you like your jacket? He says, yeah. Did you like the pink stripe? And he says, what pink stripe? And I said, there's a big pink stripe across. And he said, no, there isn't. Then I realized that then he told me, yeah, I'm colorblind. And I said, I think next time you go shopping, you should ask a friend to go around with you. I didn't really realize that it has such an effect on people. And on another occasion, I met a gentleman who's about 72 years old. He says, I was talking about the world, as usual, and he said, oh yeah, he says, I'm colorblind, so we get talking, he says, I see shades of grey, and he says, can you explain to me what green is like, not in terms of color, in terms of whatever you can say. So I said, well, there's olive green, there's grass green, and there's emerald green. And he says, you mean there's so many different types of green? I said, of course, we have shades of green. He lives 72 years old, and he doesn't know that the colors come in different shades. Has no concept of what green is like, because colors is like, he's never seen it, right? So he doesn't know. Words we take for granted, things like that. There is a limit to, when we see the world in this visual form, right, there are certain things that we can't see. Say, for example, this cup, we do not know whether it's hot or cold. Unless we can see an infrared, then we know this cup is probably warm or hot, right? So you got to ask, is it hot? You feel and you find out. So the world that we see is limited to a certain spectrum, right? And that's all we see. And we see the world in terms of shape and colors. I'll come to talk more about it, about things in the world. When you come to a door, we see the world differently. When the dog comes in, you'll know how many people have been here before. The dog can identify people who have been into this room before because they have this sense of smell. This sense of smell leaves a kind of footprints for the dog, so they can identify. We can't do that. We can smell things, but we can't identify that. And when you come to a bed, which makes up the world using the reflected echo. So they built the world using sound, right? They send sound out, they echo back, and presumably they get a three-dimensional world. Because so that they can fly through without knocking onto things. So you can, in visual form, you can think in terms of their shining flashlight, and then they could see, oh yes, there's these things there, there's that thing there. So in a way, the way we see the world, in the way we construct the world, is no different from how a bat constructs the world. How a fly with several eyes construct the world, but they themselves can understand the world because they're used to it. The origin of the world. How do we construct the world? Now, if I talk about, there is this square blue thing, you know, and he says, what's this square blue thing? Is it plastic? I say, no, it's not plastic. Is it ceramic? No, it's not ceramic. Is it marble? It's not marble. Yeah, I say, oh, it's a blue chocolate, right? As soon as I say square blue chocolate, you have a label. You know what it is. You can identify it if you see one, right? So what you have actually done is created something in your mind, which may or may not exist in the world, right? A square blue chocolate. Now when you create what I call this identikit, right, which you can next time use to identify things, you create it in a complex form. When you say square blue chocolate, immediately you get all these attributes of chocolate in there. Tasty, sweet, smells like chocolate, melts in the mouth, it's brittle, you know. So the identity that we create, right, it's very rich, very, very rich. If we see something we do not know, right, we want to know, we want to identify it, so that once we identify it, there's a feeling for it, right? With the feeling come liking and disliking. With liking and disliking comes craving and aversion, and so on, according to dependent origination. Problem with this identity is that it is conditioned. Right? We create it. We put things that we think should go into that identity, right? So we all see things differently, you know. I like this person, you know, I don't like this person, I don't like his beard, you know, I don't like his dress, he's too short, you know. So when we see somebody, we create an identity, you know, which is different, depending on our conditioning, what we like, what dislike. And there's nothing at all with things that's outside the world, right? We all assume that we see the same thing, we feel about the same thing. We don't, right? We don't because of our different conditioning. And at the extreme end, you get two people from two different social class systems, right? They will tell you likes and dislikes. One like dog racing, the other like horse racing, you know. So we create identity. We create identity, different identity. And we relate to the world through this identity, right? Even we ourselves exist in our world. We got an image of ourselves. When you look at yourself, right? This is actually an image inside your body, right? It's very difficult to imagine this because this is a 3D image, right? The only thing that exists behind the retina is the 2D image, right? So what I'm actually seeing here, right, is actually inside the body, right? So the world is inside the body, and we project what we have inside onto the world that's outside. So everything is a projection. If we do not project, right, we only see shapes and colors. Because that's the basic thing that reaches the end of the retina. shapes and colors. That's all. You can't make things up. You have to make things up. Because you want to move in the world. Right? But the trouble, we make too much out of things. Right? When we make things out, depending on conditioning. So it's all relative, it's not absolute. Right? So when you see something out there, well, don't be sure that somebody likes it. Right? Or don't be sure that somebody would dislike it as well. Right? But if you happen to be from the same social group, same upbringing, same culture, same school, whatever, same teachers, same clique of friends, then you can be sure that you like the same thing, because the conditioning is the same. When we see a friend we have not seen for 10 years, then when you see a friend turn up, you have not seen for 10 years, and you say, hey, what's happened to you? I said, there's nothing happened, I just grow older. Right? But our identity doesn't grow older. Remember them as that. That's that. We cannot reconcile. I'm not sure whether it's him. It doesn't look like him, this identity. They investigate. Oh yeah, I remember him, this thing like that. You remember the same memory. So you talk together, and then later you update your identity. Well, you don't quite update your identity. You create another identity. Right? Which is your friend 10 years later. Right? So your identity is the thing. Right? But when we see people we see every day, we keep updating it. So that's why you don't notice that they grow old. There's somebody we've not seen for a long time. Or a place we've left for some time, we go back there, wow, it's different. We come back and it's the same thing. Identity. So when you relate to people, relate things in the world, you're not relating to people, to the physical person, to metta, to mind and metta, alright? We're just relating to these identities that we created. Well, is this good or bad? And it is the way we function. Right? It's how we relate to this identity. If we create something like a monster or a spider, then we're going to have a problem. Right? So we got all this stuff. And we have phobias because we create a frightful identity. Right? We get attached to things because we build something nice about it. Right? Nothing to do with the person or nothing to do with the thing. We pick all the good things in. This is that. Keep piling it. So it looks great. Something we don't like. Create an identity which we are adverse to it. Just like it. Right? Things we like as we build, and become attached to it. Things we don't like, we have aversion. And that aversion leads to fear. That's how, in a way, we function. But some of us are sensible, We come to realize that we don't really know about the person when you meet somebody, person maybe 25 years old, right? We've met them 5 times, maybe spoken to them 2 hours, 3 hours, and then we can form something, of the identity of the person. Just 2 hours. That person's life is 25, he's lived 25 years. But with 2 hours conversation, we think we know the person. We create an identity of the person. And all the creations are conditioned. Right? We are who we are because we are conditioned. Right? Being conditioned means we can be knocked into a particular shape, particular condition. Right? Which is a good thing. It means we can change, we can be knocked into a different conditioning, a better one. Right? So, why we do not want to change into a different, better conditioning is because of our stubbornness. Right? We like or conditioning, or the way we are, or whatever it is, we hold on to it very tightly. Right? This is me. I like to be me. We associate all these things. And this me, this self, is something we created as well. We create a self so we can interact with other selves. So we have, in our mind, we have all these identities talking to one another. Talking to one another, playing with another, have a conversation for 1 hour, and then we feel tired, and at the end of it you wonder, what's that all about, or we run through scenarios, you're familiar with that. So the good thing with the identity is that because we can create it, we can destroy it. Because we can create it, we can change it. Because we create it, we can also create another one if we want to. Right? So it means if we are fearful of something, we know that the fear we have is not the thing that's outside. It's the identity that we have created. Right? And instead, say for example, spider, if you're scared of spider, forget about the identity that you have created in the past. Create a new identity. Right? A reasonable identity, Spider are no different from the inside. Right? And don't go further than that. Don't start adding all the anything, that would create fear. It can be done. It can be done. And slowly you let go of this identity that you dislike. Same thing with things you like, right? You can examine the identity, that you've created, whether you like it, the things the stuff that you put in. Is it really that good? Is it really that tasty? I remember one of the things, that I liked many years ago is chocolate muffin. Right? I really like chocolate muffin. Although those many years ago, you have only chocolate muffin, you haven't had a double chocolate muffin or triple chocolate muffin. So now the craving is getting stronger, chocolate muffin is not good enough. Double chocolate muffin, triple chocolate muffin. So I know the perfect chocolate muffin that I like, you know. Yeah, inside is soft, chocolatey, just the right amount of sweetness, not too damn, you know. And every time I go to a shop, I saw chocolate muffin, wow, go and buy it. Disappointed. I go. 9 or 10 times I'm disappointed because something's not right with the chocolate muffin. Not the one I want. Like the one I once created, you know. Probably the person who baked the chocolate muffin, that's his or her idea of a chocolate muffin. It doesn't match mine. Right? It doesn't count. That's my world. Right? So I go inside my world and look for this chocolate muffin. Now I've given up chocolate muffin, I know I can't find the chocolate muffin I like. So when I see chocolate muffin now, so yeah, I know chocolate muffin. It's not going to be like the one that I think, you know. So I'll take it, whatever it is, you know, soggy, sweet, whatever, you know. So in that sense, you know, I've given up chocolate muffin, you know, to that extent. I know because it's going to be disappointment. Going to be disappointment. Definitely it's disappointment. So our liking of a particular thing, a person, pet, people, can progress from feeling of liking, craving, to clinging. And when it becomes clinging, that's what we call attachment. Because we attach to it. Right? What attaches to it? Self attaches to it. That's the object, that's the subject. That's the attachment. What's wrong with attachment? Well, attachment is okay. You know, I like it, I attach it. Yeah, but you got to pay a price for this attachment. It changes you. Once you attach to a thing, you become possessive of the thing. Right? You won't share it. You know. You won't share it. Or you won't even let people touch it. Or you won't let people go near it. Possessive of it. Once you have an attachment for a thing, you're protective of it, you guard it. Right? And when somebody says something about it, you get angry. You know, it's your favorite thing. What do you mean you don't like? What do you mean exactly? You know, you defend. You're a totally different person altogether, you know? Because that's the thing you attach to. Nobody must say something bad about it, you know? That's the second thing. Third thing is that you want to be close to it all the time. You want to be with it all the time. Because you've got a nice feeling being with it. But when you're separated from it, there is this painful longing. Right? The stronger your attachment, the painful the longing. And longing is very painful. Extreme forms of attachment is addiction. Right? Addiction to drugs, addiction to alcohol, addiction to gambling. Whatever things in the world that people like, it will lead to addiction. Right? Computer games, movies, music, anything that something like coffee, tea. Right? That's it. Tea-holics, coffee-holics, or something like that, you know. Yeah, we can condition ourselves because we are conditioned beings. I usually drink tea, white tea without sugar, and somebody gave me tea with sugar with white. Oh, terrible! It was years ago, you know. So, and I drink coffee with sugar. So one day, for some reason or other, this person keep making me tea with sugar because I didn't say it. So I drink it first day, second day, third day, it wasn't too bad, you know. I say, wow, okay. Fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day, I like it. And so I've been conditioned to like tea with sugar in it. I don't know, I like it, I like it, you know. I drink. Then I can't go back to drinking tea without sugar, you know. So I had to drink tea without sugar, right? Because that's what I used to be. That's what I used to be like. So I want to go back to what, you know. So I did. So I can recondition myself to what I want. So we can condition ourselves, right? Only if we do not hold on to it too strongly. We are willing to go through that conditioning, right? You know, I know. I mean, the stories about alcoholics and all that. So those are very strong attachment. So we can. Best example of authenticate is that if there's something new that we want, you know, we build up all this thing about it. Wow, great, and all that. So we put a lot of effort to get it, right? You know, so that whatever that authenticate, the new authenticate that we build about it is not that strong, right? After a few days, we get fed up of it. You know, the thing is the same, right? After 3 days, nothing much has changed. But our identity for it has changed, you know. It's not as good as I thought it was. Of course it's not, we build it up. You know, we build it to be like that. It's never like that. We build it to what we want to be, you know. And then we decided, well, it's not as good, you know, there's faults in it, it could be better, they could have done this better, and all that. And then what we really like, you know, 3 days ago is something we dislike, or we even hate it. Oh, spend a lot of effort and money in it. White elephant, nothing to do with the thing. Has to do how we build the identity. Has to do with our internal world. It's how we live. We live in the inside world on the outside. Alright? Think about it. We live in the inside world on the outside. Alright? We think we're interacting with things on the outside. But we are interacting with things that we created from the inside. Attachment comes in two forms. Attachment to things. Attachment to views. Oh, that's troublesome. Attachment to views. I say people in the world argue because of craving. Religious people argue because of views. Alright? This is the way to do it. No, this is not the way to do it. That's a better way to do it. You know? And sometimes there's no difference, but just because it is my way, it's better. That's all. It's attachment to the view. Self-righteousness is a view. And a lot of people feel very strongly about it. Self-righteousness. With views, you can break it down to views on self, right? another views on practices and vow. View on self is another thing which will cause attachment and fear. This is me, you know, this is the view, this is me. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to somebody I like? And views on practices, you know, on vows, you know, am I doing the right thing? You know, when you mix in a crowd, you know, they have a particular way of doing things. And you think that that particular way of doing things is very important, right? And you did, and you do it incorrectly, and you feel guilty, you know. Oh, I did this wrong, you know, I should have done it, you know, that kind of thing. So the stronger you attach to the rightness of doing things, if you do it wrong, you feel very guilty. And in the monastic life, there are many monks who are very attached to the right way of holding the vinaya, the rules, the monastic rules. And they all come with guilt. Oh, yesterday I did that, you know. I'm not sure whether I broke the rules, you know. If I broke the rules, you know, I should. So I feel guilt. You know, I talk to people, you know. That's a serious rule, you know. So because they're holding too much onto to that view, they're placing too much importance, too attached to the views of the rules or practices. Another fear is, well, I had a look at fears, you know, what sort of thing that people fear. One thing that they say that a lot of people are afraid of is fear of public speaking. All these people is looking at me, you know. They're thinking about me, you know. Now, if you know, like, that the me exists in every one of you, right? So you're not seeing me, and you're seeing a version of me in your world, nothing to do with me, right? So one of the ways to do that is to say, you are seeing me, right? Try that. So the me is there, not here. You are seeing me. It's not. You are seeing me. Alright? So it's you seeing me. Alright? That's one. That's one way you can overcome this fear. And try it. So I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you. Okay? So in our practice, right, we try to, in the beginning, we try to lose this attachment. Right? Not to let go of all this attachment. When we've succeeded there, we try to let go of our likes and dislikes. I'm talking about the monastic practices, you know. You all can say dislike and dislike, you know, and then we train to start letting go likes and dislike, and then by understanding that the likes and dislikes are conditioned, what we created, you know, or been told to like, you know. And then we go in further, you know, these preferences, right? And when we see things that itself, as outside things, the outside thing is just matter, you know, it's We make things out of it. You know? Matter. Coffee, tea, just matter, atom, molecule. Even taste, it just tastes, you know, because everything is relative. Right? Every time after lunch people make me coffee, it's always different. Different people come in and say make cup of coffee, one sugar, one coffee, two coffee made. You know, they put different amounts of water. And it's different. Every lot of times it's different. Huh? It's because relative to the person, likes and dislikes. That's the way the world is. Right? You make yourself a nice cup of coffee, you give it to somebody, they will like it. Right? So we come to understanding this ultimate reality, that the things outside is just matter and mind. Right? The mind belongs to the person. That's matter. What matters to us is our matter and our mind, specifically our mind. Right? It's creates thing. So we work with our mind. Let go of attachment, letting go of likes and dislikes, letting go of preferences. And you are equanimous, you're dispassionate about things. You're dispassionate because we are dispassionate about feelings. You're dispassionate about perception. You're dispassionate about thinking. You're dispassionate about consciousness. Right? Dispassionate about shapes. So in dealing with your attachment and your fear, always related to the identity that you create. Don't hold it as true. Just say it's not certain, not sure. No matter how good it is, just say it's not sure. Once you say it's not sure, then the mind can't use it, propagate it, or not proliferate, make it even better, or make it worse. It stays as it is, you know. And then you want to see the special qualities that you put in it, you know, special things which are not real, you know, or your own conditioning, you know, what you like. So you have to examine, you know, the way you see things. Once you do that, right, then you become more tolerant with other people. And when you can see your own liking and disliking, and you can see how false all this identity is, you know, then you can be more open to people. Right? You can accept that because of their conditioning, they like this, that is, or dislike this, and it's never any better than your own. Right? It's never any better than your own. You can condition yourself to that person. Right? You can recondition yourself away from the attachment and the fear. Because from the start you are conditioned being. That's how you are. So you can condition yourself. Another form of conditioning is brainwashing. You know, you all know about that. You know, that's an extreme form of conditioning. But you want to condition yourself so that you do things that are good for yourself and good for others. Don't do things that are bad for yourself and bad for others. Try not to do things that are just good for ourselves and bad for others. Try not to do things that are good for others and bad for ourselves. Best form is to do things that are good for others and good for ourselves, if you can. That's the best. So the real world is inside our body. Outside, externally, there is mind and matter. Matter follows the laws of physics, of chemistry, you know, laws of physics. So you don't, when you see a tree falling towards you, you get out of the way. You don't say, just mind me, you know. It is a tree, it's mind-made, the type of tree, whatever it is, but it's still a hard tree. So you get out of the way. Or a truck coming in, you know. You may like or dislike the truck, that's mind-made, you know. But the truck is a physical thing. That's real. It obeys the laws of physics. You know. So there is the outside world in the basic form: colors, shape, smell, scent, taste, texture. That's all it is. Right? Other than that, we add to it. Right? So in the end, when we see things as it is, as they are, with no preference, right? And we see people, we don't have preference, and we develop loving kindness and compassion, right? So we can respond to people according to our understanding, to our seeing what they need, not what we think they need. We don't create identity of them, right? We keep updating, we keep saying to two things: what they say, to their voice intimation, to their body intimation, what they need. Right? So we respond to people in that way. That is living properly, you know.